So I thought we would begin this video with a question that one of my really good friends asked me the other day in one of her audio messages. We were sending back and forth, having this conversation, and she had just hit a moment where she was just giving up on trying and manifesting, and she had been following all these different people talking about manifestations and how to do them. So in short, her question was, I'm struggling to manifest. I'm doing all the love and light stuff, practicing gratitude, but nothing is working. What am I doing wrong? And I thought about this, and because I know her, I know that she's not trying to manifest a Lamborghini and, the superficial things that a lot of times you can see people trying to manifest, thinking they want. I know that she's actually manifesting and attempting to manifest just security for her life, right? Just a better life overall for her family. And I thought it was a really good question. It's a really honest question, and it's something that we've all been there. We've all sat and said, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting the job that I want? Why am I stuck in the same cycle? Why am I still, having the same repeating toxic relationships? So many things that just show up in our lives over and over again, but we want them to change. And before I responded to her, I just wanted to sit and think about it for a second. Like, what is it? What are we making so complicated? And what I realize is that we have to first forget everything that we know. I feel like the problem sometimes is that we think we know so much. Someone's created a definition, and we've accepted that definition of what it is to do that thing or understand that thing. So manifestation is just this buzzword all over the place, right? When in reality, manifestation is simply the act of creating something, creating a reality, creating an outcome. And we've always been creators. Humans are creators. That is just what we do. We create things, we dream up things, we invent things, we fine-tune things. Creating is part of what makes being a human so special. And so where we're complicating things is we're putting now this idea of manifestation, and it seems like this magical occurrence that only you can do if you hyper focus in the exact right way with the right formula under the right circumstances, and you do it 3 times a day. And we're creating a complicated ritual out of just creating, the process of creating. And so you look at, all right, you want to make soup. You create every day by cooking. You create every day by just getting up and deciding, I'm going to go to the gym, and then you go do it, and you've just now manifested a workout routine. Like, you've come up with something multiple times a day. I guarantee that you've manifested something you've thought in your mind. You decided to, a mini plan of how you're going to go do it. I'm going to put my shoes on. I'm going to go to the grocery store, get the ingredients for the soup, whatever it is, and then you go and do it. You don't think, oh, I just manifested a soup. You just created a soup. Whether you had a recipe or not, you threw things together with some water on a stove and you made it. The complication is that we overthink. So it's the blessing and the curse. We have these beautiful imaginations where we can dream up an invention that can change the world, or we can allow our mind to spin us in circles thinking, this invention won't be good enough. I don't know how to do it. What's the pathway? Someone give me the directions of how to dream up this invention. So we're overcomplicating things, for one. 2, I think it's important to, before we create something, so let's just take the soup again. Before we want to make this soup, and we say to ourselves, I want to make an amazing soup to feed my family. That's it. I just want to have enough to feed my family. All right. And maybe some people want to create a gourmet soup because they want the lavish soup for their dinner party. You still have to create it the same way. You have to create it with a knowing of the ingredients you want to put in, the process of, I at least need a pot, I at least need some water, I at least need some heat. It's the same method. It's just you get to decide what ingredients and how lavish you want to make it. It could just be a potato soup with some water and some salt and pepper. Or it could be other things that you've prepared and you went to the grocery store and you got, and now it has more ingredients. There is a process of thinking about the past and thinking about the future and bringing them together in a plan, in a method, I guess you could say. So it's one thing to say, I want to manifest my dream life. But if you're not looking at your past and your patterns, and you're not thinking about how do those affect my future, then I think that's where we get stuck. That's where we get stuck in the idea of it should just be happening. Why isn't it happening? We have to think about our patterns. So if I want to make a soup, last time I tried to make a soup, I didn't prepare myself with a grocery list before I went and drove to the grocery store, or I forgot my wallet. And then, so of course, with the cash that I had on me, I could only get potatoes. So now my soup that I tried to create, manifest, no one even liked it. I didn't even like it. It didn't come out the way I wanted. How come everyone else's soup is better? So now I realize, okay, I have a pattern of being forgetful, or I have a pattern of not preparing myself enough before I even set into motion this idea that I want to manifest something, I want to create something. I better have all of my, my ingredients I want to put in, my plan. Don't forget something when I'm there. Make sure I have the seasonings I want. And then now I go to the grocery store and I'm prepared. I have my money, I have the ingredients that I need, and I get all the stuff and I go home. Second step, now that I've prepared my plan, I gotta at least set in motion this momentum to create this soup. So if I'm standing in the kitchen and all of a sudden I just feel so exhausted from the grocery store, I'm not paying attention to the time, I'll just, I'll make it in a couple of hours. I get stuck watching a show or something, and now it's 8 o'clock at night and I didn't start preparing the soup that has to cook for 2 hours. So yes, now it's going to be hard to manifest that soup, that outcome. It's going to be hard. It's not going to come out the same. You're going to cook it, forget it, go to sleep, try, burn it, whatever it may be, not get to make it till the next day. And then the next day, your ingredients were left on the counter. So now we have to look at the pattern of, all right, I don't follow through with things. I got all the ingredients, but when it came time to actually do the thing, I didn't follow through. I didn't respect my own wishes in that way. So we can want to manifest a certain type of life, but are we following through with the steps that it will take to get there? Are we going, if we want to be a nurse, are we going to do the tedious work of applying to nursing schools and having to figure out, how to get school loans or whatever it may be? That's kind of a challenge because it's going to take a little more patience. You have to figure out a few more things. What temperature do I put the stove on? I don't know. I don't want to fail at this. I don't want to mess it up. Those patterns that you recognize in yourself, those are some of the things withholding you from simply creating the thing that you want. Because you have it in you. You can simply create if you get out of the way. If you get these characteristics that we all have. Absolutely everyone has things like this in their lives where they get in their own way. No one's immune from that. I promise you. And even the influencers and whoever you see talking about, I manifested a 6-figure job in a month. Maybe they did, but they also didn't tell you that they had the education. They did 4 years of school in that direction, or they had an uncle who worked at that corporation that got them that job. There's so many things that were set in motion beforehand that maybe perhaps set them up for that. But there's some hurdle that they got over, whether it was given to them or not, whether it was handed to them or not, I should say. Because we can say I manifested the dream apartment I wanted, but it was already set in motion by either hard work or whatever it may be, or even just connections, right? That doesn't downplay that it came to be, that they were able to create that. And even in explaining this, the creative process, it sounds even more complicated than it is, just because I'm saying a lot of words, because everyone creates all the time. You can create a card for your sibling by just folding a piece of paper and decorating it with some crayons, and there you go, you have a card, a happy birthday card. And so as much as you want to complicate it, you can. I also wanted to say that I do believe that there is a greater plan that we have set in motion before we come here. Of course, there are choices that we get to make to co-create this life that we are living. And you get to sit and say, either I want to go to nursing school or I don't want to go to nursing school. That's a decision I'm going to make, and I'm going to create one type of timeline by these decisions, or create a different type of timeline with these decisions. But there comes a point where we have to be honest with ourselves. As much as we want to manifest something that we believe to be the utmost dream experience, it could possibly be something that we're pushing and pushing and pushing for that never is really meant for us. And I do truly believe that it just won't happen. It won't happen for you to be a millionaire if you in this lifetime have chosen to create a life where that's not the greater achievement that you even want for yourself. But perhaps this ego, the personality that you are in this life, you're being influenced by what you see. You see someone driving a Lamborghini and you think that is the highest form of life, where your cosmic self, your all-knowing self, is way above that, and saying, come on, we know that that's not where we even want to be this lifetime. We want to completely go farther than that. Why are you stuck on this Lamborghini? And so sometimes our manifestation goals, our creative goals, can even get in the way of a greater goal of understanding. It's a self-realization. It's knowing what will truly bring you abundance, what will truly create a life that's not just abundance for you and yourself, but for all of those surrounding you, for the highest good of everyone, on a planetary level. And of course, on a micro level, with just you and your relationships that you have. And that's not to say that people shouldn't want better. Everyone deserves the right to survive and thrive, of course. However, I do think we set ourselves up with different challenges in order to evolve each lifetime. And we give ourselves those roadblocks, we give ourselves those hang-ups so that we can push through them and see them clearly. And so yes, manifesting the Lamborghini may not be for you, thankfully. And it may take years of not getting the Lamborghini to finally say, why did I ever want a Lamborghini? Why was I so stuck on that I missed the opportunity to, do X, Y, and Z? We have the ability to do absolutely anything. Absolutely anything. I think that is the underlying secret of humanity and our power, and part of the reason that it is stifled from us to realize this, knowing that if we understood that we can create anything, the world would change in an instant. However, I do believe that we come here knowing that Earth has this veil upon it, and we will forget who we are, and we'll forget how to co-create, different realities. And so we're in this slow motion pace here on the planet, and we can feel the potential. And I think that's why manifestation is so appealing to everyone. It's like we can feel that we have this immense potential to do anything that we want, but there's a block. And I do think the block is that we're out of touch with our journey, with the reality of, no, I want some challenges. I want these hang-ups that I have so that I can see what I want. I want my soup to burn. I want my soup to burn so I can finally recognize that the problem is me and I have terrible patterns that I need to fine-tune. My focus is bad. I always forget the ingredients. I forget the recipe. And so instead of saying, I just can't manifest soup, I now say, I recognize the pattern that's hanging up my creative potential, right? I'm now finally seeing the patterns that need to be fixed. So now I don't even care about the soup. I may not even make soup because I'm so excited that finally I'm going to work on this pattern of mine and I'm going to see it. I'm going to be able to follow through and not forget the ingredients when it comes to making my next amazing meal, whether it's soup or not. Creating anything is just a matter of looking at our past, our behaviors, our patterns, and then thinking of the future, what we want, and bringing the two together into motion. Just creating through heart, through flow, and through honesty about ourselves. Do I really want this? And why do I really want it? And if I do want it, I'll naturally get excited about it and I'll naturally go do it. It's really that simple. And then if it doesn't come to fruition, looking at why, and did I really want it? Is it for my highest good and the higher good of everyone around me? So my challenge for you would be, first, to simply get rid of the idea of manifestation and just understand that you are a direct fragment of the creative consciousness. So of course you can create anything, and just sitting and embodying that awareness of being much, much, much more powerful than your little body tells you every day, and seeing it on the micro level of, I create this, I just created that, I just did that, and everything that you do all day is a form of creating, of co-creating reality. How can the things that I want not just be for my own gain, but for my family, for the world around me, and how can I get out of the way? What patterns are holding me back from just creating the thing, doing the thing? I hope that was helpful in whatever way, and that you can see that your creative potential is inherent to you. You do it every day just by getting up, making breakfast. You have manifested a full belly. So thank you for watching. I am sending you all of my love, and have an amazing day wherever you are.